the most exciting part of TAW for me
Mhm.
by far. I have 3 daughters.
Yeah.
I'm a mom of girls, so being able to show them, like, you guys could do anything. You can be in any industry you want. You may have to be louder and you may have to try a little harder, but you can
Yes.
do this.
Home, home, just wanna go home, home, back home. I've been gone for way too home, home.
Welcome to Make Space, a home design show that empowers you to create spaces you're obsessed with. Tune in for conversations that dive deeper than pin-worthy rooms. Host Cara Newhart teases out the essentials of designing spaces that feed your soul and inspire your creativity. Cara has been featured in House Beautiful, Apartment Therapy, and has collaborated with brands like Home Depot, Wayfair, Amazon, and more. Here's your host, Cara Newhart.
It's Cara, and I'm on a mission to help you find your style, learn to tackle home design without intimidation, and unlock the confidence to transform your spaces. On the show today, I'm sitting down with Chaya, the founder and CEO of the trendy and affordable furniture brand Tov. So before she took the furniture industry by storm, Shaya was a preschool teacher and her partner Bruce worked in the furniture industry. They kind of noticed that there was this gap for products that had a lot of style, high quality, and affordability. So she saw this as an opportunity for women to grow in a more commonly dominated male industry. And Tov was born. Their tagline is "Don't be boring," and they totally embody it with very fashion forward designs and bold statement pieces. They've also collaborated with stars like the D'Amelio sisters, Madison Beer, Jason Derulo, and more. I'm really excited for this conversation because we kind of dive into, furniture industry, what we don't really get to see as consumers, kind of a peek behind the curtain. We talk furniture tips, from care tips to shopping for pieces to trying on new trends, and how to invest in those trendy pieces in your space to make them last. And we also talk about kind of the industry, what it's been like navigating what has been more traditionally male dominated industry as a woman and as a CEO of a company. So this is a really amazing conversation. It's packed with girl power, and I'm so excited to share it with you. As you know, before we dive into the interview, I give you some quick and practical design strategies that you can use to create spaces you're obsessed with. I'm giving you 6 quick tips for furniture purchases with no regrets. Okay, so furnishing your home can totally be a process. You usually start somewhere between hand-me-downs and IKEA, and you work your way into thrifted pieces and box stores, and then you might end up learning your lesson on where to splurge and save and start investing in some higher end or custom pieces. So I'm going to share some tips to hopefully make navigating this process easier no matter where you're at. Tip number 1, splurge versus save is as easy as trend versus timeless. So when should you buy an expensive piece of furniture that has the look you want versus invest in something that might last you a really long time? You should do both. So some pieces in your house are going to be pieces you use all the time and love for years, while others are going to look outdated sooner. So an example might be a couch that comes in a neutral color and a classic silhouette that lasts you years when you swap out things like pillows and throws to keep it looking fresh. But then other pieces like a coffee table or an accent chair might be really trendy and they could start to feel dated sooner. So the simple solution is to spend your money investing in pieces that will last and opt for cheaper or thrifted options for the items you might find yourself swapping out more often, either because the style changes or the needs in your space change. So when I say, classic pieces, like you're looking for something to invest in that's classic, I don't mean just traditional style of furniture, stuff that's boxy and like boring. I mean things that have stood the test of time. And there's tons of different eras of design that have done this, from mid-century modern to Art Deco to farmhouse to all kinds of styles that basically have occurred once in history, have been brought back in various ways, and they're things that if you love them, they are classic. And it's not just one design style, a traditional design style that's classic. It's pieces that you love and things that are timeless, but across different design styles. So don't feel limited when I say get classic pieces. Tip number 2 is to buy for the phase of life that you're in. So if you have a house full of toddlers, it's probably IKEA season. It's probably Target season. Your furniture needs are gonna change over time, and it is okay to buy or thrift pieces that are just for now and pieces that have a short life cycle. Of course, I encourage you to be a conscious consumer and, thrift where possible. Make sure you're offloading those unwanted items in a responsible way where other people can repurpose them and they're not just going into the landfill. But balancing your budget, balancing your design needs and your style, and balancing that eco-friendly element when you're furniture shopping sometimes means buying box furniture that just works for now because it has the function you want, it has the trendy look you want, and it serves your life right now. So that is okay. Not every piece of furniture you buy has to be a big investment or has to be something you're going to keep forever. You need to look at, what do you need out of your space? What activities are you doing in the space? How do you want it to function for you? And then those are the pieces that you buy. Then tip number 3, this is some inside information that you might not know, but it's about designer brands versus box stores. So many people usually don't realize that there's actually a huge difference between working with an interior designer or a showroom type store to source custom or high-end pieces and buying from, just a box store. So even if the furniture is the exact same brand and it looks like the exact same style, what happens is brands often license out their high-end designs to box stores who recreate the pieces at a lower price point using lower quality materials so they can achieve that lower quality price or that lower price point. So it might look exactly the same, but the actual materials of the item is going to differ enough to where you're getting actually a big variance in quality. Think, your cushions are going to sag sooner. The piece is going to be made out of particle board instead of real wood. So you can definitely go either direction with this. It is not wrong to buy the cheaper piece, but just know that there is a big difference and it goes way deeper than just how the piece looks. And even if it's the same brand, you might need to look at this as a piece that's short-term versus a big investment if you're kind of going off that framework. But just so you know, there's a big difference between, furniture brands and furniture lines that are truly designed, made from the ground up, made for designers, made for the trade, in pieces that you can find in box stores or even on Wayfair. So there's a difference in quality, there's a difference in price, and that's fine. You can go either direction, but just know that they are different. And a lot of people don't really realize this, which I find really fascinating. It's something that my really serious interior designer friends get riled up about. People don't know they're buying garbage. And I'm like, look, if that is what they can afford and they're doing their own space, and they just want the look and they just need something that they can afford, it is fine. But it's interesting when you know that there's a huge difference. Tip number 4 is to measure 1,000,000 times. So we talked about space planning in last week's episode and how to really get your furniture layout right, but measuring well is really just the key. Sometimes measurements can be really hard to visualize in 3D, so I have a trick that I like to do, which is to tape off the size of a piece, like a couch or a table, onto the floor with painter's tape so you can get a feel for the layout and how it's going to be positioned in the space. This can really help you visualize. It's temporary and it's really good at helping you translate those measurements on paper into your actual space. Tip number 5, don't skip comfort. I feel like if we learned one thing about our houses in 2020, it's that houses are meant to be lived in, and prioritizing comfort alongside the look and vibe you want is essential. So prioritizing comfort means buying things that are comfortable, even if it's not the look you want. If the look you want is structured, but actually a comfy couch will better serve you and your life, maybe we don't buy the structured piece. maybe we look for something that balances what we need, which is a aesthetic and a level of comfort, and actually like the feel of the couch needs to be amazing. So there's a balance between function, between comfort, between aesthetics. And that's something I feel like we're paying a lot more attention to overall, as we really just want to create like that comfort in our space. So another tip for this is to look for online retailers that are flexible, that offer, hassle-free returns. So if you're buying things online before being able to try it out, you want to be able to send it back if you get it and the quality is not what you want, or it's not as comfortable, or the texture, the feeling of it. Like, furniture is all about the experience, like touching and using, as much as it is looking. I mean, probably more about touching and using it. So that's something that's hard to gauge online sometimes. So you want to be able to return and swap it out if it's not a perfect fit. But then you can also try to make it into the store or showroom before you check out, so you can really give things a test run. That's obviously the ideal situation, and hopefully as things begin to open back up, we will be back in action doing that. But online shopping, even with furniture, is absolutely huge, and it's totally doable as long as you find someone that's flexible and you can return and you can really get what you want and make sure you have exactly what you need. Then tip number 6, and this kind of goes without saying, but buy what you love and don't settle for anything less. There are amazing ways to get the look you want within your budget, and we're going to cover tons of tips in next week's episode all about how you can thrift your way to a designer looking home that you love. But for now, I'm going to introduce you to a brand that has an amazing balance of quality, on-trend items, and an affordable price. So let's sit down and talk to the CEO of the amazing furniture brand, Tov, that is never boring.
So I'd love to get into your story a little bit, because you have kind of an unexpected start for someone who owns a badass furniture brand. Can you share the story of how Tov was born and a little bit about your background?
Sure. So actually, before I went into furniture, I was a preschool teacher. I was a teacher for 10 years, and I absolutely loved that. It was very fulfilling and extremely fun every day. And when the recession kind of hit, it was really tough times. And my husband bought a business. Bruce, who is the co-founder, bought a business called Coleman Furniture. And at the time, there was nothing happening with it. It was just a really a cool site that was getting a lot of unique visits. So he bought the site not having any furniture experience, but knowing that he had to do something other than real estate, which he was doing at the time. So he started, opening just different kind of less unique brands, more mainstream brands, and really getting the business going. And when he started realizing that there was this huge void in the marketplace for fashion forward, feminine furniture at a really, really good price, that's when I got involved. So I've always loved furniture. I've always loved design. Interior design was always my hobby. And it was something that I had no schooling involving anything that had to do with design. All my schooling was, teaching centered, but I knew that I loved it and I had a passion for it. So I agreed for some reason to help him. And we started brainstorming with ideas of how to really get this idea going. And we bought our first SKU out of Asia, and it was a pretty simple piece it was a settee that we purchased. It was our first Tov SKU, and along with it we got a couple of other things, and they were really very, very mainstream, but they had just a little twist to them. And we brought them in, and I mean, even getting the pieces here without a warehouse was like madness. I don't even know what we were thinking. It was a total jump. And a risk, huge risk. And we sold the pieces really, really quickly. And it was kind of surprising. Like, people just really, really loved the fact that they were able to buy these pieces at a really good price, and they were fashion forward enough. And the business just kind of took off from there, with people asking us to create new SKUs, and the different small stores that we started selling to just really loving what they were seeing, and we hit the ground running. It was like a very, very hectic, crazy start to things, but it was insanely invigorating and exciting, and the brand was really born out of a necessity for what we make and what we produce now, which is fashion forward, beautiful furniture at a really, really amazing price. We really want to make sure that it's accessible to everyone, no matter what their budget is, and there really is something for everyone.
I think that's so interesting because as like the consumer, we just kind of show up and we shop and, you know, we fall in love with the brand, but seeing like a peek into the back end is fascinating. So really you're like, you're purchasing items from like manufacturers and reselling, and then you kind of moved into like more designing your own stuff. Like how did that work?
Exactly. So first it was, well, I've always designed the pieces from the very beginning. It was more like just being safer with the design at the start of things. And now I'm really not scared of any, color, metal finish, really anything goes. It's whatever is trending and off the Milan and Paris runways. In terms of home design, that's what Tav does. So it was more just like a safer start to things, and then as the months progressed and the years progressed, it was just feeling more confident in the fact that people were okay with seeing some zany designs. And there's a maximalism lover and there's a minimalist lover, and they need pieces to fill their spaces and don't necessarily have a lot to spend. So just figuring out, again, our motto is don't be boring. It's non-boring furniture at a very, very good price, but we really try to make sure that every female consumer has something that she can purchase and love.
So in terms of inspo, you're just kind of traveling around, like just picking up things kind of everywhere, or is there like a specific process you have for that?
Yeah, definitely. I would say the pinnacle of interior design is 100% Milan. Paris too. Milan to me is more of an inspiration. That is where the new furniture designs and accessory designs, that's where they really start, and they really blow up. So before COVID, pre-COVID, I was traveling a lot around the world, gaining inspiration from every different country we were going to, but most of the design inspiration came from either Milan or Paris, and just soaking in everything about the city and every showroom I would go to and every furniture show I would go to, and really just trying to capture it all and then bring it back home to the US. And I mean, the European designs don't really hit here for a couple of years sometimes after they come out of Europe. So Tav is really closing that gap. And what we've noticed is that customers they're wanting the product thanks to social media and thanks to coverage on the furniture shows and events. They want it really, really fast. So we try to get out these styles to customers and to stores and to designers as fast as possible. So I think that the time frame of that blurb of time that used to be like a given, it's out of Europe, and then 4 years later it's here, or 3 years later it's here. Now it's just a couple of months.
So cool. So I guess let's talk trends, because that seems to be what you're like the expert in. What trends are you feeling like are going to be big for 2021?
Sure. So it's hard to say, just because of the crazy times right now, what the trends are going to look like in 2021, just because I feel like there isn't this huge fashion jump from 2019 till now. However, what I have noticed is there's a lot of bubble, like the bubble look is really big right now. Low furniture, that is what people want. They're looking for sleek, minimal, cream colors, a lot of natural elements to the furniture, a lot of just more spa, calm-like feels to the frames and to the textures and to the fabrics. But color is definitely still a player. I just think that I feel like the color that is trending right now is, again, more of like that safari natural look, where cognac is just like blowing up. Orange, those kind of like natural colors are, but still, in those rusty tones. I feel like those are really big right now. But we're also seeing that the boho trend is coming back in full force. Like, I think it took a little break and now it's really, really big right now. So again, like the blushes, the salmons, different colors, sea blue, the different tones of sea blues, those are really big too. And of course, black is really big right now. But It's funny. Like I feel like furniture it's trending and changing so quickly now. Like if you would look at things 5 years ago and see how the progression of furniture went through the year, it was like maybe one
Right.
trend change. Now it is so fast that you can have one style and then 3 months later there's like another huge style.
So are there any like detail elements that you're loving, like finishes or like textures or something that's just you're really into
Yeah,
right now?
yeah. Rattan is like, I mean, it's on
Mm-hmm.
everything now. We're pulling it on backs of sofas, on our beds, on our chairs. Raffia, we're doing a lot of straw-like things with in our
Mm-hmm.
mirrors. Plaster is so big right now, and people they went obviously. Concrete was big for many years, and now people are really loving that plaster trend. Velvet is
Mm-hmm.
always a winner with our consumers. So we're always going to be doing velvet for as long as it's trendy. But that's those natural elements, a lot of woodsy and California beachy looks. They're really trending right now. But I am a lover for like natural furniture. I love woodsy low furniture. That's just my
Mm-hmm.
style.
That's kind of what like drew me to your brand, besides all the velvet and the slogan and the aesthetic, was that you're
Yeah.
making trends just so accessible for everyday people in a way that like I hadn't really seen before. You have so many touch points in terms of like ways to express your personality and all the different ways you can encompass a trend in your house. And what I really like is that if someone wants to jump in on some of these trends by adding just like a couple new pieces to their space, that's like really accessible to them. So, is there any tips for like that kind of everyday girl that you would recommend? Like, what should she shop for? Are there any pieces that you like would, I don't know, tell her to look at? Like,
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think that was one of the things that drew me to creating Tav. And that was that I feel like every girl out there should have a home
mm,
that she's proud of. She should have a space that she feels fabulous in. And I think that changing and swapping out some very minor things in a room really, really could just make your space incredible. We work really, really hard on having an accent chair line that is
uh-huh.
insanely affordable. We have chairs you can find in Home Goods for $129. We have chairs that are like a really big, nice frame for $299 that you can get at Costco. So we try really hard to make sure that accent chair is super affordable, because changing an accent chair out in a space really could help your room have like this instant
Absolutely.
refresh. Changing out the pillows on a sofa, I mean, it's amazing what it does
Hmm.
to your space. In a bedroom, something as easy as swapping out your nightstands, and again, like we try to have a very super affordable options that really creates that could turn a very drab space into a fabulous
Right.
space very quickly. So I think accent chairs, nightstands, desks are, I mean, they're so underrated. I
Mhm.
think until someone gets a fabulous desk, they're like, oh my
Right.
God, my desk. It's really incredible besides for the fact it really helps your
Mhm.
workflow and helps you feel great at a beautiful desk, but it really changes up a space. So little small purchases of furniture can, when done in the right, with the right color and the right tone, could just make your space look all the better.
So that's such a good strategy and some really good elements if everyone's like, I guess in 2020, if you're swapping something out, accent chair and a
Yeah.
desk, like a work from home space, are totally the way to go. Can we talk about like furniture fabric? So I know like the pieces I tend to fall in love with are always made with some like ridiculously gorgeous fabric that looks so hard to clean. Do you have any tips for keeping the
Yep.
fabric looking fresh, or maybe like some certain fabrics to consider for durability for those of us that are hard on things?
Sure. Yeah. So we get this question a lot. As you can imagine, being a
Hmm.
velvet company, a lot of our Instagram questions are, I love this piece, but I have kids, I have pets. What do I do?
Right.
How do I keep it clean? How do I prepare my home for this piece that's about to come in? And it's like bright pink, and I have
Hmm.
a toddler, So I love Scotch Guard. I think that it
Ah.
does wonders to a piece. Scotch guarding furniture is any upholstered furniture is always a good idea. Obviously, standing as far back as you can, like
Hmm.
according to the can directions, just because you don't want to
Right.
stain the furniture. But we always suggest that anybody uses a damp cloth with a little
Hmm.
bit of dish soap, and usually in like rubbing it in a circular motion gets
Right.
out stains. But some of the stains are just impossible. Like we had a customer reach out the other day and said, I have this beautiful cream sofa and I was wearing jeans that were a little damp. It was raining outside. I came in and then it stained the sofa. What do I do? That's a hard one because like it's a lot of glue on a cream sofa, but it was amazing to her that she used a damp cloth with just dish soap, which everybody should have. And this, after just a couple of minutes of rubbing, the stain came out. She used a blow dryer at the end of it to just make sure that everything was dry, and it worked. So I think try first dish soap and water. Scotch guarding furniture is a major one, but knowing that there are just some elements in your home that you cannot bring near a sofa is, you've got to be aware that red wine is going to leave permanent marks. Pens and pens are a big one. We get that one a lot, like pen marks. But for the most part, fabrics today, even velvets, are created in fabric mills to be able to really take stains out. So, and there's amazing fabrics now that are coming out that people just can't believe. We have a fabric on some of our dining chairs. It's ketchup proof, pen proof, nothing. It literally is bulletproof, and it's soft, beautiful velvet. So I think companies are really trying to help consumers who want these beautiful fabrics, be able to clean them. And, there's a really an awareness factor. So I would say that it's dish soap, water, blow dryer, and keep the pens away.
Yeah, I have 2 velvet sofas in my house that I just got over the summer, and I've been like keeping everything off it, but I'm like, maybe we don't have to be so careful. Just like, the big nose.
Yep. Yeah, velvet's a tough topic for a lot of people because they love it, but they hate it at the same time.
So another thing about your just brand across all the pieces is texture. Like they are not missing texture in any way, shape, or form. And I'm in love with anything textured. Texture's magic. I feel like playing with it is where you get into like really good design. It's a huge through line in your pieces and styling. So do you have some styling or shopping tips for how to showcase good textures in your space through your furniture?
Yeah, I'm exactly like you, Cara, in that way that I love texture too. And I think people think texture means that it's texture to the touch, but I think texture is so much, anything layered, I consider textured. So I love having something textured in every room. Even if it's a small bathroom, there should be something textured in there. So I think looking at pieces that have layering in some capacity. For example, that doesn't necessarily mean a mirror that you feel the texture of the mirror and it's bumpy. What it could mean is that, let's say the mirror has a spiky look or the mirror has a very curvy look. That's creating some sort of texture in the room where it's not uniform. There's no, it's not linear or only circular. There's some kind of element that's creating a layered look in the room. I think that using velvets creates automatic texture in a space. Having a very bright color in a room, that creates texture in a space because it's just letting your space feel layered. I'm a huge accessory person. I think accessories are a massive part of your space, and they don't have to be costly. I'm a big Target home goods girl. I love shopping affordable because I'm a trend person. So I want to be able to swap out my lamp and swap out my pillows and swap out my even my candles very quickly. So when I spend $12.99 on a floor lamp, which I do, you don't feel as bad a couple of months later when you're like, oh, I really want to get on that like blush trend and get a blush lamp. It's a lot easier when you didn't break the bank with your last purchase. But I think that having accessories, I guess you can say the small details that when you look at an interior design Instagram page or you're looking at a really cool magazine and you're like, this looks awesome and perfect and like finished, it's because the accessories in the room, they are there. Like try to think of the room as I guess you can say your blank canvas and go backwards. Like think to yourself, okay, I know I want to incorporate as much texture as possible in this room. I definitely need a lamp. I definitely need pillows. And you really can do that in a very affordable fashion. I hit IKEA the other day and I was like, oh my God, they are just upping their game. There's so much to buy and all for just, it's affordable. So I think that the word texture doesn't only mean texture to the touch.
That was such a simple reframe, but it was like mad like design pro level tips. Like texture is visual, not necessarily like to your touch. So that is such a good reframe that I feel like is going to help everyone so much. I love that. So let's dive into your slogan, which is "Don't be boring." This is something I feel like I live by, but can you share what it means to you and like why it's such a big piece of your brand?
Yeah, sure. I think Bruce came up with the slogan. We were, together when we were married, and we were brainstorming one night, like, what would be the ultimate slogan? Like, what do we feel embodies Tav? What is it? And I was like, well, the whole reason we started this brand was because everything out there is so boring. They're all, very, very old school companies. 99% of them run by men. It was a very, very simple slogan to us in terms of what was needed in the furniture fashion world, which was non-boring furniture. So I think that everything we do, from our showrooms to our merch that we create to obviously the furniture we create, that is what we try to bring out. And we don't want people to ever feel like their spaces need to be boring. There is, even some of the most, I guess you can say, monotone spaces that have like super cream, that whole cream, they're still not boring. They're able to bring out stunning, beautiful pampas grass, which creates incredible texture to a space. I'm such a pampas grass lover. But the don't be boring element is something that I feel like every person needs to embody every day, just because you are unique, and you may feel like you are, stuck with what furniture to buy, but picking something that's fun, it makes you feel happy. And at least it makes me feel happy, but it's something that we try to embody in our everyday design life.
That's a really cool nuance too, to being like so trend forward, because it's easy for people to be like, oh, that's the trend, everyone's doing it, like it's the same across the board, but it's not. I feel like you have this nuance to teaching people how to rock a trend, but in a way that's so personal and so like fits with their story, and it just like it resonates. It's so good.
Oh yeah, I love seeing like some of that's why Instagram is such a fun thing to see. I hold the account and I'm able to see all the customers' photos and feedback and answer their questions. And the amount of different designs I've seen with a hot pink couch, and it's gone from places that that are obvious, meaning like a fabulous woman's office or a kid's bedroom, to a doctor's office, like a gynecologist's office that has, hot pink sofa. So it's incredible to see what people do with the furniture and how they're able to design their room, and whatever that the furniture means to them, they play with it and make their room fabulous. So I just always love seeing that, and seeing how people kind of like, I guess you can say, react to what they're seeing, and how they embody it into their designs.
Oh, I'm sure. Just seeing how everyone puts their own twist on like the very same piece, but in so many different like iterations. That's so cool. So something that really stuck with me is that your brand is like beaming with girl power over there. You're in this like industry that's been, more commonly male dominated, and you are like changing the game, but in a way that's not like, I don't know, not like pushy or not disruptive in like a rude way. I think sometimes like the whole female empowerment can come off as like, get out of our way, like sit down, but it's not that. It's just, we're here too, kind of. But can you speak to like what it's been like to come into this industry that has so much history of being very male dominated, and maybe some of like the challenges that have come from that, and then ways you've like looked to change the game?
Yeah. So I would say that the furniture industry is one of the most male-dominated industries on this planet. When I first joined Bruce, it was almost fascinating to attend the different furniture dinners and functions and shows, and repeatedly be asked, oh, you're here to help your husband, you're here to help keep him company. That's so sweet of you. And I'm like, actually, bitch, I'm here to run the show. So it was, I'll never forget, I was in China, and we were at this, we're Jewish, and we were at a Shabbat dinner on Friday night, and there were hundreds of people in the room, and I was the only woman, the only one. They were all there for the furniture show, and everybody was talking and chatting and, doing major networking. And this guy comes over to me, this person I know in the industry, and said, you are the best wife. You came all the way here so you can keep your husband company. That's so sweet. And I just like worked for 12 hours, like on my feet, making sure that we were ready for the next season. And I was like, you know what? actually, we're here to do this together, but I'm a major part of things. And that's really like, that was the start of things. That's when I realized that there is so much talent out there. Females have so much incredible talent in the interior design community and in the furniture community. And for some reason, I think it's just because it's a generational kind of business. So if your grandfather was in furniture, you were in furniture, and that's really how it still is. Actually, it hasn't changed. But I think because of that, it was almost an automatic thing, like your father did it, so you did it. It was the male in the relationship. And I think now, being at this moment and being able to say, there is so much talent in terms of in the female community, it's incredible to be in this place. I would say we are still the only ones. I don't think there is anyone else. There's one other company that does art that's female founded, but there are very, very few of us, and we still have to explain ourselves, and I still have to answer questions all the time of, it's Bruce, and then I'm down the line. So I think that being able to have a voice and being able to show that females are incredible designers out there. And I think that if you are able to bring on your game and do this, it's not limited. And there are definitely challenges. It is an automatic assumption whenever there's a furniture event, especially because Bruce and I do it together. So it's very, very often both of us there together, that I'm there as support, and I am, of course, I'm supporting him. I'm a wife too, but that's where I am in the picture. So I think that as time is going and people and other companies are starting to love it. Like, I'll never forget when we went into one of the top 100, where we do business in a lot of top 100 furniture stores, where we come in and we create these beautiful spaces, and on the wall in massive graffiti, it says the future is female. And I mean, customers love it and they feel the energy. And I'll never forget when one of the most old school furniture owners, who's a legend, we all know this guy, he said, I'm so proud to be, he's in his upper 70s, to be at this moment where I'm able to put this on my wall and being able to show this furniture here and have so many of my customers feel validated and excited. So I think being in this space is the most exciting part of TOF for me by far. I have 3 daughters. I'm a mom of girls. So being able to show them, you guys could do anything. You can be in any industry you want. You may have to be louder and you may have to try a little harder, but you can do this. So I think for me, that's the most exciting, most invigorating part of doing what we do.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. That just about made me tear up, because I'm a mom of a daughter too. And I worked in oil and gas finance, and my title was literally landman. Landman.
No.
And there wasn't even consideration given to should it be land woman if it's a woman? No, straight up landman. So I think that really resonates deeply with me, but just too much,
that's
right?
Too much.
But just the fact that you're
so
showing
funny.
up, and it's be so good they can't ignore you. That inspirational quote, you're living it, and it doesn't have to be pushy or you're just loud, and you're just here and ready to change the game. I love that so much.
I think that I think we have a duty. I think people that have a voice and that have, in whatever industry you're in, even if your voice is 39 people listening to you on YouTube, if you have a voice, create change. And I think right now at this point of time, it is such an exciting time for women. I mean, it is, you can't get any better. VP, everything going on right now, this is our time. So I think that women need to just get out there and show their talent and do something good, because this is, if there's any time that our voices are meant to be heard, I believe it's now.
Oh, absolutely. That's so beautiful. Okay, so everyone's going to be itching to connect with you and buy some pieces. I know I have an ottoman set sitting in my cart, and then I was like, what am I doing? I have to go
Awesome.
How will everyone connect with you, both on Instagram and then on the website? So
we have a website we launched a couple of months ago, a direct-to-consumer website. It's super easy to shop. Being the Instagram holder, I love hearing from customers, answering any questions anyone has. But really, the product is available in a lot of different places. On our website, toffurniture.com, you can get the pieces at Z Gallery. We're going to launch it at Costco in a couple of weeks again. A really simple Google search shows you can really find the product in whatever store you feel comfortable buying at. So we really sell in a lot of different places.
Well, thank you so much for your time and for this conversation.
Cara.
I feel like it was so many good tips, and I'm revved up. I want to go like be loud about
About being
being a
a
girl. Yeah.
woman. Yeah. Yeah. It's an exciting time, and
For sure.
I think it's special. It's special to
Yeah.
be able to be alive at this moment and being able to, I don't know, I guess do fun things for women. So I'm excited.
So good. So good.
#obsessed. So this week I'm obsessed with the accent wall that I made using peel and stick vinyl flooring. You can literally cut it with scissors. I just cut all the pieces with my kitchen shears and stuck them up. It's peel and stick. And it was ridiculously easy and it looks next level amazing, if I do say so myself. But it's really cool because they have a bunch of different like products with different colors, different grain patterns. So it's not real wood, it's easy, relatively easy to remove later in terms of you're not having to pry trim boards or boards off of the wall. You might just have to repaint and fix it up a little bit, but it looks so good. You have to hop over to my Instagram and check it out. It's this little like hallway nook space. I actually reframed the whole nook to change the size and added drywall and all that. So that's a whole process if you want to see or ask questions about that. But you can also just do the accent wall with the peel and stick. And I'm finding a lot of you are very excited that are still over there scared to use your saws, which I feel you. I was there too. When I first started DIY, I would not use a saw because I was terrified of it. So this is a cool way to customize your space and do a really fun accent wall project that looks like wood if you don't want to use power tools. So go check it out and let me know what you think. I would love to hear what you think. Does it look like vinyl? Were you shocked that it's not real wood? Many people were, so you would not be alone. But go check it out and tell me what you think. Time to talk trends. Okay, for trend talk, we're talking about furniture trends, and I have some insider info for you because I actually got to go to the Vegas market, which is only open to the trade, so interior designers or furniture and home goods retailers. So like if you have a store where you're selling home products, decor, furniture, like Wayfair, Ashley Home, a small like home boutique. So it was really cool because I got like a peek behind the curtain into all of these trends that some of them are kind of out there yet, but some of them I don't feel like have made it into the mainstream. So basically it's a ton of like showrooms. So you walk around all these different brands and you get to check out like all these they're set up like rooms, like living rooms and bedrooms, and you kind of can see all the pieces they have to offer. If you're a designer, you're looking at these pieces to like purchase for your client. And then if you're a retailer, you're looking at these pieces to sell in your store. So it's stuff that the public, like a regular person, can't go in and buy directly from the market or from these showrooms, but you could get the pieces through an interior designer or through like a boutique store or a retailer, or sometimes like Wayfair has some of the brands. So you can get access, but it's not like direct access. So all that to say, you're getting an insider peek behind the curtain. And I wanted to talk about some of the furniture trends that I saw since we're on the topic of furniture. So number one is Art Deco. So Art Deco furniture is absolutely in. So if you're not familiar with Art Deco, it's kind of like the 1920s, 1930s-ish, kind of Great Gatsby vibes, lots of organic shapes and modern silhouettes. So things that I saw that were very Art Deco were like these bean-shaped couches, furniture with low backs, and then fabrics like velvet. And then textured upholstery was super in, so like that channeled upholstery, and even woven textures, like using soft fabrics for added texture. I'll put some pictures in the show notes so you can see what I'm talking about. But Art Deco furniture is very, very in, number one. Number two was neutrals. So tons and tons of neutrals. We had like these creamy whites on furniture mixed with a lot of like natural medium wood tones and light wood tones. It's like a polished organic feel where it feels like a little bit earthy and grounded and casual, but kind of is done in a way that's like luxury feeling. So sort of like Leanne Ford style is sort of like this, a lot of white and then a lot of wood tones and kind of black or gold accents. and then plants are involved, but very like neutral bases and then building off of that. So like neutral furniture was kind of all over the place. Then texture is super big. I feel like the furniture trend used to be like fun colors like a couple years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago ish. I remember buying like these bright yellow nightstands that were so trendy, like bright yellow, like a mustardy bright yellow. But now it's less about like colorful, bright, fun furniture and more about like texture being the main focus. So lots of fluting and caning was really big. So I saw lots of chairs with caning in all different sizes. Usually the caning is like a natural color, and then the rest of the chair is like wood or black or white, so kind of that neutral palette. Sometimes the caning is like stained lighter or darker, but you're going with those like natural looking tones. Black and caning seems to be a favorite combination. And then fluting, which is, if you don't really understand fluting, we kind of talked about this before on an episode, like how to rock the trend with pole wrap and my trick for fluting. But basically it's the texture of like a column. Like if you have the texture on a column, but you kind of roll it out flat, either on the front of a dresser or the edge of a table or desk or a side table, fluting is very in. So textured furniture with a lot of like textural elements is absolutely on trend. And so it's less about color, more about texture. And then the hot finishes in terms of like hardware was black and gold. So didn't really see a lot of chrome. Doesn't mean you can't use it. Chrome is classic, even though I personally hate chrome. But you guys know that I love gold so much. But yeah, you don't have to go change out all your hardware, but you could switch out your furniture hardware if you're looking for, a refresh to the pieces you already have. Swapping out the hardware is so simple, but can make a huge impact and change the whole vibe of the piece. So black, matte black and gold were like the hot finishes for hardware. So those are all my like insider peeks into what's trending furniture wise at the moment. So these are things that are they're out there already, but you'll probably see more and more of them. So if you're interested in any of these trends, I think they're totally in and you should rock them. If you're looking for something to try on, try out, or refresh your space, you could try one of these.
If you're not already, you need to get it together and follow me on Instagram. That's where the party happens every day. It's where you can see me do all of my projects and DM me with your questions and your spaces and all of that fun stuff. So hop over to Instagram, type in Never Skip Brunch, and follow me so we can be friends there and talk more than just once a week.
I'm on my way back home.
Thanks for listening. If this is your first time listening in, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay in the loop with the newest episodes. If you're a subscriber and you like the show, be sure to rate, review, or screenshot and share your favorite episode on social.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.